And we are back, folks, to another exciting episode of Left Unread. I am, as always, your host, Evan, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Cameron. I almost called myself Cameron there, by the way. I almost said I am Cameron.
Well, we all have aspirations, and I don't blame you for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it has. It's been a few weeks. You were on vacation. You were traveling, and so we took a couple weeks off, but we are back now, and we've got some stuff lined up. But I'm actually on vacation this week. Although for me, I'm not going to travel somewhere cool. I'm just doing a staycation kind of thing. But we just
That's
decided
still cool though.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Staycations are good.
Yeah. I mean,
and you are doing some traveling in the land of Hyrule.
I am doing some traveling in the land of Hyrule, correctly. Yes. I mean, you seemed like that was a pretty exhausting vacation that you were on. You were doing shit basically every day. So.
Yeah, it was not like a beach chill vacation where you like sit and hang out. It was like it was a very active, very adventurous journey into parts unknown for me. And it was cool. Yeah, it was it's tough to encapsulate like how perspective altering and just wild the whole experience was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can talk about it a little bit. I'll definitely do my best, but I feel like it's always hard to, just like, when you use your cell phone to take a photo of something amazing.
Yeah.
It's really never possible to like,
yeah, at
least with like, rudimentary camera technology, like it's never possible to like really capture the kind of
what it's
spectacle.
Like to be there.
Yeah, that's sort of how it feels like, because obviously I've been getting asked all week, like, oh, how was your trip? And it's like, man, I don't even fucking know what to say. Like, it was the craziest trip I've ever been on, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely awesome.
Yeah.
Doing some important overseas research for Left Unread. And actually, that started as a joke, but is sort of true, because I did meet a person that hopefully will come on our show, and that'll be a really fun one.
Yeah.
And then I got some ideas for future episodes. So, I guess sort of inadvertently there was some research done.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. How are things stateside?
Yeah. Well, I mean, fucking Ron DeSantis with the greatest campaign launch in fucking history. I only like briefly heard the tiniest little bit about that. Because that was right at the end of your trip, so you're like traveling back and whatnot. Yeah,
and I like very intentionally exhausted zero effort on paying attention to like what was going on at home. I obviously I texted you and like kept in touch with like friends and family and stuff, but I had no interest in like U.S. news.
Yeah, and
periodically one of my traveling partners, my friend Taylor, would get like a little ping on her phone, and she was like, "Oh, news from home," but it was always like like man dies after getting like consumed by swarm of bees. Like it was always just like some awful like U.S. news tidbit. And I like just really intentionally avoided. So I know nothing. I don't know what's going on with Ron DeSantis. I don't know any of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's just throw in the theme music here, and then we can come back and start talking.
Fuck yeah, dude! It's as good a spot as any. Let's do it.
Alright, yeah, so, I mean, dude, the Ron DeSantis... Okay, so Ron DeSantis and the Ron DeSantis campaign. Mm-hmm. This is basically what happens when you yourself are an utter and complete fucking moron.
Yeah.
You surround yourself with sycophantic fucking moron freaks, and then you hitch your cart to a moron horse in Elon Musk that just fucking takes you off of a fucking ravine. Like, it's just like, fucking, like, oh my god. All right, so Elon Musk.
I just like the visual of him as a moron horse.
Yeah.
I think that's
just
fun.
just a drooling dullard of a horse. I mean, so like Elon is, he's always had this like fascination with the letter X, which is just like so fucking bizarre to me. I'm not sure if we've ever talked about it on the podcast before.
I don't think
like,
we have.
Yeah, like, so when he did not found PayPal, by the way, but he was like involved in its creation between the merger of two companies, and Peter Thiel was also one of the people involved. But like Elon Musk like really wanted to name PayPal X. It was just going to be like X.com, and that's the thing that you use to pay people. But obviously, I know for our younger listeners, they may not know this. But like the letter X, especially in the early days of the internet, like if there was an X involved, it was porn. It was pornography.
Right.
And like, I mean, I guess that's still kind of the case, but I mean, it's like less prevalent than I think it was then. But like, so basically everybody thought when Elon Musk wanted to name PayPal X, everybody was like, is this like a porn site? And, like they had to, like, and they couldn't talk him down from this. So they fucking, like, they started doing focus groups just so that they could show to Elon, like, dude, like, over 90% of people think if we name this, our website, X.com, that it's porn.
Right.
But it's for paying people. You don't think PayPal might work a little bit better than X? Like, and he just, like, he could not fucking, like, deal with this.
But it looks cool, man. Look, it's like...
Yeah, but I'm a big D-Generation X fan.
I was gonna say, dude. Now we'll have to put that music in.
Yeah, 100%.
You think you're better than me?
Yeah, fucking X marks the spot, dude.
Dude, yeah.
But so anyway,
that was a really sweet era of professional wrestling.
Yeah, dude, it was so cool when
we were like,
every
11
boy on Earth was telling everybody to suck it.
Yeah, dude, not even like fully comprehending the implications of
not
what
even
they were
knowing
asking.
what that means. They're just going,
yeah. Can you imagine, dude? There must have been so many instances of like, some just like browbeaten 7th grade teacher like trying to like quiet down some shitty little boy and just being like forcibly told to suck it. Like with like aggressive pelvic thrusts. Dude. Oh wow! What a
dude,
time.
I remember like I did that when I was like 8 or 9, and my mom asked me, she was like, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah, it just kicks like, ass, mom. Stop asking dumb questions.
Like my mom obviously knew what it meant, and she's like, "Why is my like dumbass 8-year-old?"
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. She had children. Like she's at least peripherally aware of the activity.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, just specifically doing the movement. Which again, for our younger listeners, you like take your hands and just like put them like over your dick, but you like hip thrust. You know what I mean when you do it, and obviously usually you'll suck it or whatever. But my mom just like owning me because she was like, "What does that mean?" And I'm just like, "I don't know."
Explain to me your thoughts, young son. Like,
what do you think you're doing right now?
Oh, you mean you're just like blundering around on pure instinct with no idea of...
Just doing what other people are doing,
Basically like a dog. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude,
you're
it's
having
really
a good
cool.
time despite having no idea what's going on whatsoever.
Yeah. Was this before or after you had Eminem-style bleached hair?
Oh, this was way before. I did my bleached hair when I went to the Family Values tour. With my dad and sister, so I was probably like 13 or something then.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen... Are there photos of that?
No, not that I know of. They would have to be printed out in some family book.
Right,
somewhere.
like actual photos.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was also famously when these kids sitting right in front of us got insanely drunk. and one of them just puked everywhere, and it like splashed like all up on my legs. My dad got like wicked fucking pissed at these kids because like they let their friend get like so fucking drunk that he basically just like passed out and then puked everywhere, and that splashed on his son.
Yeah, dude.
My dad's like getting wordy with them while like the security guard has to take the dude away. But that was like my second ever concert. I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Dude, was he like that baseball guy? You know what I'm talking about? The gif that you've sent me of the guy puking on himself.
No, because that guy was like...
This is a really stupid thing to attempt to convey on an audio.
I think that was actually at a football game.
Oh, okay.
But for those wondering what Kim is asking me, it's this very and I know some of you guys have seen this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know we have a lot of Twitter freaks on our fucking listener list.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also made like the Facebook. That's how I first saw it, was Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's just this like insanely fat dude who ate way too many hot dogs and drank fucking way too much beer at some football game, and he's just sitting there with his, like, balled up fist in front of his mouth, like, not even making an attempt to stop the constant deluge of vomit coming out, and just, like, but he's, like, leaned back, so it's just pouring down the front of him, and, like, you can see chunks of hot dog getting stuck up in
it's
his,
a cascade of puke. The only time I've ever seen...
he is straight puking for, like, over a minute, too.
The only time I've ever seen that much puke was at our apartment when we lived together in New Bedford, when our mutual friend, when we were doing Edward 40 Hands, and our mutual friend who sometimes listens to our podcast, so I won't name him, but he was in our apartment, which used to be his apartment. Yeah, and he did it. He successfully did Edward 40 Hands, and then
this
just
was actually
proceeded
before we lived together. This is when you were hanging out with them this summer.
Oh, were we just at that apartment that we ended up living in?
I wasn't even there for this.
You weren't there for that?
No, you told me about the story many times, but this was that summer before
I remember, and I was hanging out with their friend for a little while, and anyway, he proceeded to puke and cover the whole floor of the kitchen with vomit. I mean, the whole floor, and then everyone else was just too drunk. He was just gonna like go to bed, and I was like, well, I guess it's the least I could do. So I just like literally took my shoes and socks off, rolled my jeans up, and like waded into the fucking vomit and cleaned up their whole kitchen for them. And I don't know if I ever received proper thanks or recognition for the duty that I did. Because I was not known as like a get shit done type of guy. But I did do that one time.
Yeah.
In my bare feet. I'm like literally, in my memory, it's up to my ankles. That's obviously impossible. But it was a prodigious amount of liquid vomit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I wasn't there for that, but I did, our other mutual friends, the one that we will never say his name on this podcast, but he, when we were in, I think I was still in high school, but the rest of them were in college, although maybe I was a freshman in college, I can't remember. But we had like a party at he had an apartment in his mom's house, and we had like a party there, and everybody got so fucking drunk. And I had like worked. I like to work at Dunkin' Donuts. So I'd work at like 7 a.m. the next morning.
Oh, that's right. You used to work like at the ass crack of dawn.
Oh, sometimes yeah.
It was the one right there on Route 6, right?
Yeah, which has moved now, but that was like the busiest Dunkin' Donuts in the area. Yeah, It was a fucking gauntlet.
Yeah, so that place. Even when we were in college, that place was a fucking insane.
Oh, I had to do Saturday mornings doing the sandwiches, and that's why I had to do the next day for this. So I would start at 7, and I'm not even kidding you. Between the hours of 8 and 11:30, like we had like one of those screens with the orders on them. Yeah, it's 5 across, with 2 rows, so you could get 10 orders on the screen at once.
Yeah.
And between the hours of 8 and 11:30, I had anywhere from 2 to 3 pages of those at all times.
Yeah.
That's how much shit I was making. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't even have me running into the freezer to grab more stuff when I ran out. They would have somebody else do it.
Right.
Because I was just, you just cannot stop fucking making shit right now. And that's what I had to do the next day, so I didn't really drink that much. But we had a couple friends, one of whom, he got so fucking drunk. And then our friend's loser older brother that all of us stopped talking to like a year later. like, people were, like, funneling beers, and this dude, the older brother, starts putting his fucking cigarettes into the beer funnel while these younger kids are funneling beers. And because he's like, these fucking stupid kids are too drunk to even figure out what the fuck's going on. And so this,
he was having people chug his cigarettes?
Yeah, he was an asshole, dude. He sucked ass.
I mean, I remember getting my high school girlfriend's stepbrother to chug bong water once, but that's not that mean, you know?
That's pretty mean.
He knew what he was doing.
I guess so. Yeah, if you're just high, you're just high. It's not like when you're drunk.
Yeah.
But so fucking so this dude, he's just funneling beers and cigarettes, and fucking he finally like just starts projectile vomiting. And like he goes to a window which has the screen in it, and he just pukes projectile directly into the screen, and he has long hair, and it just bounces back into his face. And it's all in his hair. And like finally, like our buddy has to, like, whose apartment it is, he has to run up and punch the screen out because the puke is just coming back in waves all over this poor kid and all over the floor and shit. And finally we have to like take him and put him on the toilet, and we duct tape one hand to his head and then his elbow to his knee to hold himself up, and just put a bucket below him. And that was the only way to get this kid to just puke into a receptacle. Other than that, it was going. I mean, we had to duct tape his hands to his head and his elbows to his knees so that it would just hold him where we needed him to be puking.
Oh my god!
And that was a legitimate amount of puke. Yeah. So that was like the fat guy at the football game. So anyway, yeah, that was when.
So this is a digression of a digression. What were we talking about?
We were initially talking about Suck It.
But before that, what did Suck It? What led us to Suck It?
Turned into you asked me about my bleached hair.
No. But I'm saying before, like, what was the actual topic? We were talking about Ron DeSantis, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Dude, what do you? I know what you're like. I remember all that stuff. What I'm saying is, we had like a topic that we were talking about, and then we went through layers of like reminiscence based on one another. I remember all the Suck It and stuff, but at what point we talked about an X? Oh, Elon Musk.
X. That's
it's because of Elon Musk. Got it. It's because Elon Musk teamed up with Ronnie. Ron DeSpectrum. And fucking absolutely, dude. Okay, I have another digression though before I fucking go. So, as everyone knows, I thought about this yesterday all day. I was like, I have to tell Evan about this. So, I work at a restaurant, as everyone knows. I'm a bartender, and I had some guests that had pretty thick accents. I don't know where they were from. And I had taken their order, and then the lady of this group, she leans over and she goes, "Excuse me, sir. Do you have Asperger's?" And I'm like sitting there and I'm having this. I'm like,
did she say that to you?
Yeah, she's like, "Excuse me, sir. Do you have Asperger's?" And I was like, my immediate thought in my head was like, you know, I've actually always wondered, but I don't know. Like, I'm afraid to get tested. But so I'm like, what? Yeah, like right, like I don't know. And then so I'm like, excuse me, she's like, Asperger's, like as a side dish. And I was like, oh, fucking asparagus. Yeah, man, 100%, we do. Like, yes. Anyway, that's all.
You were just like, yeah, I've always wondered if I have.
You're not the first to ask. Potentially, yeah, maybe.
God damn.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. Degenerate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration! can tell me what to do. You know who you're talking to. Well, you better get used to the way the ball bounces. I see what you got, it measures in ounces. But that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up! Degeneration! Think you're a big man? Treat you like you're a little man. Yeah. Break it down. Yo, tell me what it's like to be half a man. It must break your heart to see what I am, but that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up! Degeneration! Think you can tell me what to do? Know who you're talking to? Just stop wanting me to be someone else. Put it away like a book on a shelf that you can't read, boy. Yeah, that you can't read, little man.
Okay, so anyway, Elon Musk is obsessed with
Right,
the letter X.
so fucking Elon Musk, right?
After
you guys
10
seen
minutes,
this? You've heard about
literally,
this?
I think we just digressed for 10 minutes.
Hey, whatever. That's how you make a podcast, folks.
Yeah, that's
it's
showbiz,
just white
baby.
guys talking about shit they like
For
like 500
We
people.
hope you enjoyed the puke talk for 10 minutes. But anyway, back to human vomit, which is Elon Musk. He's obsessed with the letter X. And so, yeah, he gets pushed out of PayPal because he wanted to name it X. He then,
Right.
of course, famously goes on to create a company that blows up space shuttles called SpaceX. And then, now he has, since he bought Twitter, he's decided that Twitter will be X, the everything app. And so he's changed the company name to X. So Twitter eventually now has become his X. But that's how.
But I
stupid
thought
this guy
Grimes was his ex.
and his son XAE whatever A12 or whatever you fucking name that poor bastard.
That poor fucking kid, dude.
Yeah,
That being said, I
dude,
do fully support in the future. I do support the bullying of that child.
Yeah,
He's gonna need it. It's
imagine
the only thing that'll
having Elon Musk and Grimes as fucking parents.
Dude.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Grimes made some fucking bangers 10 years ago.
Sure.
But she, like, dude, I don't know, you know, I have found myself around the company of Wooks and Wook-related people many times before.
Yeah.
And there are people that are just, like, you can just tell that they do too many drugs, like they're tweakers. And they just got a weird way of speaking, and Grimes speaks like the weird motherfucker you've run into at some Wook's house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, you ended up there at 3 a.m. after the club.
I mean,
like,
she
Grimes
reminds
is
me of
that.
a lot of people that I've met through you.
Yeah.
You know, you've
Yeah.
been like, oh yeah, this is like such and such, and we're just at like the dirtiest apartment, and you're just like, yeah, no, they're cool. Never,
Dude,
they're never
I mean,
cool.
Dude, that reminds me of one time. I was with two of my buddies, you know the two, and we were going to like club therapy or something like that in Providence, and it was either before or after, and we stopped at this like Wook's house, and he just had like a pool inside his house with a turtle, like a land tortoise, and just like various salads that he had made for it, and it was just walking around eating the salads, and that was just right next to his couch.
There must have been so many fruit flies in that house.
It was just like, and it was in like South Providence too, and I was just like, man, where the fuck have I found myself tonight?
Yeah, dude, how did we get here?
yeah. Like, okay, all right, this is where we are now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tortoise was cool. I liked the tortoise. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for
just
sure.
a weird place to have him. It was like a kiddie pool, You know, one of the kiddie pools he has, it wasn't a terrarium.
Right.
It was just an open air kiddie pool.
Which is not.
Turtles can smell bad. You know.
Yeah.
Just, like, you just tend to want to have like a nice little terrarium or an aquarium, depending on the turtle. You want to clean it, you know.
Whether you prefer terrare or aquare.
Yeah.
You pick.
It's your reum. You can have it how you want it.
Hey, listen, man. It's your reum, all right? I don't... However you want to preface it, it's up to you, buddy.
Yeah, the prefix is not as important.
Listen,
you know?
I am everyone knows this about me. I'm suffix-oriented, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever prefix floats your boat.
Okay, I stick to the suffix. But yeah, so Elon Musk is a moron, and then so Twitter is now X, and it really seems like Elon Musk is trying to turn Twitter into like some sort of right-wing news competitor to like Fox News or something like that.
It for sure feels like that.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is he like basically like laid off like 3/4 of the company, and Twitter is famous for having fucking just not being able to handle like that much traffic anymore.
Yeah.
And like constantly having problems. I know like if you open like if you're say at Reddit and somebody posts a tweet, it used to be that you could click the tweet and then click open in the app and it would open the app to the tweet.
Right.
Now that doesn't happen. You click open in app and it just brings you to your home screen.
Yeah.
That started happening after that Elon bought it, and like I think that's so far down the list of problems that it's just never going to get fixed.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it will ever get better. I mean, I've never been a huge Twitter fan.
Yeah.
I use it way less than you. I don't have like I don't like dislike it necessarily, but
Yeah.
I feel like I don't speak the language. It feels a lot like I'm in Nicaragua when I'm on Twitter. Like I have like moments where I'm like, oh yeah, cuchara, sí, necesita una cuchara, por favor.
Yeah.
But then the rest of the time, you know, it's just it's all Greek to me. But
Yeah.
it is readily apparent even to someone like myself who's like at best an occasional lurker, that the entire experience is well past gone downhill. It's
Oh, it's in the dumps.
yeah. He's tanked it. It's happened.
So anyway, Ron DeSantis, who he has this problem, like his campaign is way too online.
Yeah.
Like,
especially for a guy like that who clearly has no like grasp on online culture, online discourse.
well, like he's very clued into more on right-wing online discourse, which is why
he?
like yeah, I mean that's why he's so into like battling woke ideology and all that shit. You know what I mean? And why he like thinks that this entire war with the Disney Corporation is a good idea. Because it plays well online, he's just getting owned in it in the real world. Like, you know, people will say like, oh, Twitter's not real life. Twitter's or the online is sometimes like real life, not always. Yeah. And like the thing is, so like he decides to do his campaign announcement on Twitter.
Right.
In a Twitter space,
yeah,
which is, you know, there's no visual medium there, it's just audio.
Right.
And I tried to listen to it, and I just straight up couldn't even get any audio. Like, I couldn't even, like, get into it.
Right.
And then, like, apparently neither could Ron DeSantis. They had to do...
Maybe the most important player in the whole, shindig.
And they had to create a new Twitter space to get him into it so that he could talk. Because he literally couldn't, like... He wasn't getting any audio.
Which is insane. I mean, that's
well,
totally...
anybody who knows Elon's Twitter could have told you that would happen.
Sure.
Like, but it was just like, it's insane. Like, why would you do this? Like, bro, just fucking make a goddamn press conference like everybody else on it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. He's so fucking shit-brained that like he doesn't realize how fucking stupid what he's doing is.
Yeah, he's a big dummy, man. He's I don't know. He's and here's the thing, he's not. I always hate copping to this, but like he's not even entertaining like Donald Trump, you know?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I always feel the need to say this whenever we touch on this. Like, Evan and I both really, really dislike Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Even though he's your background on Skype right now.
I know.
I never want the bit to get mistaken for like genuine admiration because it's we never lapse into that. But like
we both abhor him as both a person and as a politician.
As a politician, right? Like he's not good on any level. That being said, man, how fucking good is that guy?
Dude, he is so fucking funny.
Yeah, dude.
And like I think
his
like one of the
existence
things,
is so
I think
hysterical.
right now too, one of the reason that it's feeling like a little bit of a honeymoon moment again with him is because he's doing it to Republicans.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
And that's
Which,
why. That's when it
don't
was
get
great.
me wrong. I have no love for Democrats, but like just watching him eat all of the other Republicans is so fucking beautiful to me.
He's the big tadpole in the fucking nasty fetid swamp.
Yeah,
and he's eating his little brothers and sisters right now.
Yeah,
And
he is the three-legged frog in the EPA Superfund pond.
that's when it was fun the last time. It was awesome watching him fucking school Jeb Bush.
It got fun towards the end of his presidency again too. Like when he got COVID, that was a great day.
Oh,
and
that was
everybody
sick.
thought he was gonna die for like 12 hours. Like,
And you know
it seemed
what?
like he was gonna die.
It would have been awesome if he did.
Dude, if he died 2 months before the election, like I think I would have killed myself because there would be no way that life would get better from there.
Dude, can you imagine the conspiracies?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can.
It would have been. Oh God, it's gonna
The
be
CIA hit him with the fucking 5G coronavirus.
Dude,
get the facts
Donald
done.
Trump could off himself on live TV, like, and make it very clear that he was doing it himself, and it would still. When he dies, it's gonna be so bad.
Body double.
Yeah, when he dies, it's gonna be so bad. I mean, look, if you think Tupac is still out there, the theories about DJ Trump are gonna be insane.
Yeah, DJT. Yeah.
Fucking.
Dude, is like. Anyway, so fucking Ron DeSantis has this disastrous audio-only launch.
Yeah.
And then he starts making merch. What are we gonna break next? It's like, dude, like he's selling shirts and shit like that. What will we break next?
Yeah.
It's just like, he also apparently raised $86 million that he cannot access because of like changed laws about like campaign funds. So there's just $86 million that was raised by like friends for Ron DeSantis or something that he just can't use.
So
which
what's
is
it
also
gonna
great.
get used for?
Like I honestly have no idea. It might not be able to.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to give it away to the poor.
No, fuck no.
They're not going to use it to house the unhomed.
Yeah.
That would be a legendary move. See, that's the type of shit that would just probably get him elected. But
I don't know, man. No, because then you would just see him laugh. The videos and pictures of him laughing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, dude, like, he's just, like, cratering more. Like, dude, he probably killed his campaign before he even announced. And him announcing made it even worse.
Yeah.
And then Donald Trump has also been making fun of now both Elon Musk and Ron DeSantis and, like, released videos of, like, a SpaceX rocket just crashing.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes,
Yes.
dude. That's the thing. Like he doesn't miss, man. And whatever
Dude, no,
little
he
fucking trolls he's got on his joke writing staff, like they're pulling all nighters on the reg. Those dudes are meffed up. They're on it. And
They're
it's
messed
I
up
don't know.
and
It's
committing sex crimes in between.
probably. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's.
No.
And then fucking Grandpa Joe is just looking worse and worse and worse.
There is
Every
no
photo
way
I
he makes
see
it
of him,
through
it's like
another term.
it's getting spooky,
Dude,
man.
he's starting to look like Prince Philip did there at the end, you know?
Yeah.
When like
that
when there
vacant
was just
corpse-like
nothing
stare.
going, like he was just like
Lips
he
peeled
looks,
back.
He looks like he's hollowed from the first Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like, you know. Hey, can you give me 1 minute? I'm going to grab a seltzer.
Hell yeah, brother! I'm enjoying a nice Waterloo peach right now.
I know. I saw that, and that made me want one.
Yeah, this is a good flavor.
Yeah, it's a very
Peach is
flavor.
good. And it
you
actually
know I love the Waterloo grapes, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I like grape flavor like that.
I had a legitimate grape soda the other day, and it was so bad.
Really? Oh, dude, I had a great one. It was this Dominican company. I forget what it was called. But their grape soda was really good. So was their frambuesa. The raspberry was amazing.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, though.
Okay. So this is probably, while he's away, this is a good time to tell you guys, I haven't seen Evan in a little while, and he's started to develop some sort of a growth on his neck, which I didn't want to mention it while he was here because it was kind of alarming, but it's pulsating. And I could have sworn it looked like it was trying to move towards the microphone. And I don't know. I don't know if we've got like a conjoined twin, like a quado situation with Evan, which would be sweet. I mean, frankly, I think adding some new blood to the podcast would really be great and could kind of revitalize, we're obviously flagging here. And, stalling for time. So I think if we had like some sort of a conjoined twin situation, that could be really fun. But I don't know. It could also just be like some sort of hideous boil, which frankly the guy doesn't need. He's got enough on his plate. He's a busy dude. He's got a lot going on. And, I don't think any sort of like horrible infected pulsing boil in a highly visible area, it just doesn't seem fair, truthfully. But anyway, I think I hear him coming back. I don't want him to get nervous or think that I was talking shit about him. So
I have returned.
welcome back, man.
I grabbed myself a Polar Tart Cherry Lime.
Oh, very nice. I was just hanging out here, just waiting for you.
Masturbating?
Not yet. Not yet. So the Dominican's a fun segue. So I was in Nicaragua for a while.
Yeah.
And I guess for the sake of it, we can talk about that a little bit if you'd like to.
Yeah.
It's a cool place.
Can I say one thing that was really freaking me out? And like, obviously I know Nicaragua is near the equator.
Yeah.
But I never really internalized that means during the summer the sun goes down like way earlier than it does up here.
Yeah.
So when like I knew that you were 2 hours behind us.
Yeah.
And you're posting shit and the sun is down.
Yeah.
Like more than it was up here.
Yeah.
It was
so
freaking me out.
Stays
what was
pretty
it? Was
static.
it going like pitch black at like 6?
Yeah, it doesn't change a whole lot throughout the year. It's pretty close to 12 hours of night and 12 hours of day all year round. They are obviously north of the equator, but they're close enough that it's not a huge jump, from season to season. So, around like 5:30, it starts getting to look like that sundowny look, and by 6:30, 7 o'clock, it's dark every day.
Yeah, and which is crazy because up here, Cam and I live pretty far north.
Yeah.
We live in Massachusetts here in the U.S. And, like, right now at this point, we're not quite towards the longest days yet, but, like, we get, like, over 15 hours of sunlight.
I could clearly see my backyard until about 10 minutes ago, and it's...
Yeah. And we're recording
o'clock?
right now at 9 p.m. So, like, once it gets to, like, June 20th...
Oh, it's 9. Why does my computer still say 10? That's so interesting.
Weird. But, yeah, so, I mean, like, up here, once it's around, like, June 20th, like, there's still some sun at, like, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And, like, I wake up at 4:50 for work, and by, like, 5:15, the sun's up these days. You know what I mean?
I hate to cut this short. I am having... I think I gotta go take, like, a shit, like, immediately. I just went from, like, nothing to, like, dude, I gotta go. And you know what's funny? I made it through this entire vacation. I had no stomach issues, no nothing. But
That's
all
good.
day today, things have been feeling a little weird.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck it. I probably have, like, some sort of tapeworm or some shit. Because I was just, like, crushing plantains for 2 weeks. And
You probably
didn't have any
don't have a tapeworm.
No, I probably don't. If I do, though, like, this about me, I will need to be on suicide watch because the idea of having a worm in my stomach, I will want to kill myself.
I think you would disembowel yourself to
It would be bad. It would be bad. I'd have to be, like, heavily sedated and brought to the hospital. Yeah. Anyhow.
Okay,
I'm not joking, but I'll be back.
Yep.
Dude, one step closer to incontinence. Jesus. Like, that was alarming. That was alarming.
Yeah.
Okay, well, composure regained. The fucked up thing is that I DoorDashed some Taco Bell, like, at the start of this episode, and then that just happened, and now I'm about to, like, put Taco Bell on top of that?
Dude, it's really funny. Right when I opened my phone to, like, Instagram, when you said that you had to, drop a deuce, literally the first ad I got was Taco Bell.
It's listening, man.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
As
he's
soon as it
emptying his
hears,
bowels, ready to refill them with some T-Bell, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly. All I ate today was some scrambled eggs, and then I did have a strawberry frosty for lunch, so...
That was your whole lunch?
Maybe it was that, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, maybe it was this. Maybe it was the strawberry frosty, bro.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I might get some late night T-Bell. Might grab myself a little chicken quesadilla.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm a Crunchwrap guy. I like a Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah, I've never been big. I've always been. I like the quesadilla, the chicken quesadilla, and cheese gordita crunch. That's my go-to.
You ever get a Papa John's Papadilla?
I did. I don't think I've had Papa John's in close to 10 years.
Yeah, me neither. I just see ads for it, and I think it's the greatest name for it's. I think it's just a
Papadilla.
pizza folded in half. I really do.
Yeah.
I think they just fold
It's
the
a
pizza
calzone.
but it's not. It's a Papadilla.
Yeah. I mean, dude, at one point, there was like one season, I think it was only one season, thankfully, that Papa John's somehow bought the naming rights to Grand Slams during the MLB season. Mm-hmm. And so anytime, like, the MLB, like, MLB Network or whatever, or like any MLB broadcast would have to talk about Grand Slam, they would have to mention that's a Papa Slam.
No fucking way.
It was only for like 1 year. And it was just like, dude, like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
Papa Slam.
I think it was because Domino, for a couple years before that, Domino's had bought the naming rights to any time that there was a no-hitter. It would be called a Domino's, and then, like, you could, like a Domino, and then the next day you would, like, I don't know, they had, like, some kind of deal where you get a deal for pizza. And at least, like, that's, like, no-nos are, like, you usually only have a handful a year.
Yeah.
And that one is at least, like, okay, at least it's, like, a bit of a pun. Domino.
But Papa Slam.
Papa Slam! Like, this they're fucking, like, what the fuck?
Dude, you know what they should do? They should market for porn. And anytime someone says I'm gonna bust, they say like I'm gonna crust. Or like
What the fuck?
You know. Oh, you like come and suck on my pepperoni.
No, this is just reminding me. Do you remember Big Sausage Pizza?
I was just gonna fucking say the grossest porn site because those poor girls had to stuff their face into an actual cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And suck
With
a
just
stranger's
a dick
dick.
coming through the middle. Yeah, I know.
There's no way that's worth it. Can you imagine the gnarly smell of like, because it's not a fresh hot
Or like,
pizza
dude,
either.
I'm sorry, I don't want to get grease like that on my dick. Are you gonna get pimples on your dick?
Yeah, dimples. But yeah. Anyway, so I went to Nicaragua. There's not a whole lot to tell. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. Yes, it's close to the equator, and it was cool. It was really cool to see. Somewhere that sort of different. I've never really spent any time in Central or South America, and I will definitely be back.
Yeah.
It was good for my Spanish, which needed some serious brushing up, but also just so naturally beautiful. Saw howler monkeys, and the thing that I was surprised by the most about howler monkeys. So we were near. They had black howler monkeys where we were. Also, you can obviously see the orange howler monkeys in some places, but the black howler monkeys are like as big as a small dog, but on each male howler monkey there is an adult human male-sized set of testicles.
Oh my god!
And did you not see the pictures that I posted?
I didn't see the balls.
Oh, I posted a whole series of pictures specifically of the balls, which you must have just not been paying attention to. So they are huge, and they're also on a pitch black monkey. They are snow white and incredibly noticeable. So you would just look up and see like a big, like white ball sack hanging from the trees and be like, oh, there's a monkey up there somewhere. And they're always just hanging. They're just dangling. A monkey might be lounging on a tree branch and there's a big fucking nutsack flopped over the edge. It was truly remarkable. And I'll have to show you my picture.
It's like the banana spiders in Florida that are just hanging up in the trees. But instead of like a big yellow spider the size of your face, it's a ball sack.
It's a ball sack. And weirdly, I didn't see any spiders there. I mean, I saw normal-sized house spiders, but they do have, like, tarantulas and shit, and we just didn't see them. I did see a tailless whip scorpion, which is a different arachnid that looks really gnarly. They have these, like, spiky, not even claws, just, like, these, like, spiky forceps. Yeah. But they don't bite or anything, and they're really cool. And he was living in the shower at my friend's house. So we went down there to visit a friend of mine. We stayed at her place for the big bulk of it in northern Nicaragua, in Chinandega, which is not a very touristy area unless you're like a surfer, which I am not, but the waves there are sick. I mean, it was very cool.
Yeah, you're on the Pacific side, right?
We were on the Pacific side, so not like the picturesque, like, blue Caribbean water, which they also have in eastern Nicaragua, but in western Nicaragua, specifically northwestern Nicaragua, it's much more, like, rugged looking, but still just, like, warm and amazing, and the tidal, like, strength and power of the water there is so different than what I'm used to. Standing there, you just almost feel like, and I'm a pretty big guy, you feel like you could just get your legs sucked out from under you. It's fucking wild. And obviously, like, a huge bull shark population, but nobody ever has any trouble with them. Like, they're just fine. And
bull sharks are a little bit smaller, right?
Well, everybody says small because they're not as big as, like, they also have tigers.
Well, I said smaller.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, so the only reason I say it like that is not that you were saying this, but, like, multiple people have been like, oh, but bull sharks aren't that big. They're still, like, 10 feet long. I mean, I'm 6'4". That's enough to eat my fucking head off, you know? Like, they're smaller than...
Like, what are the small ones? Are the sand sharks or tiger sharks that are a lot smaller?
Tiger sharks are sand tiger sharks are small. Yeah. Tiger sharks are big. Tiger sharks are like 15, 16 feet. Which they also have. But of the man-eaters, bull sharks are some of the smallest. But they're still, I mean, they're big enough to kill and eat a human being.
Yeah.
And they do more frequently than any other shark on Earth. Also, interestingly, Lake Nicaragua, which is in the south, and we did go down there and spend some time in Lake Nicaragua, is a freshwater lake that has the only sort of standing population of bull sharks in it. Everybody knows that bull sharks can travel into brackish and then occasionally fresh water, but they will actually swim upstream in the rivers like salmon and, like, jump out of the water and make their way into Lake Nicaragua and then just, like, stay there. But they will tag sharks in the lake and find them in the Pacific Ocean and then vice versa. So, like, it's just interesting.
Dude, imagine having been, like, a fucking, like an explorer from the old world coming to fucking Central and South America.
Oh, yeah.
And just coming to, like, the most inhospitable, like, place on Earth that's not, like, one of the poles. You know what I mean?
And finding it... Well, so that's the thing. It is and it isn't.
Fucking,
because
it's
so, like... It's so lush, and the soil, especially in Nicaragua, is fairly fertile because there's so many volcanoes, and, like... There was...
I
mean,
not in northern South America. Like, in the Guianas, it's very infertile.
Yeah.
But then just, like, jaguars and fucking...
Yeah, dude.
Crocodiles and fucking bull sharks just jumping up rivers.
It's
and shit.
insane.
They must have just been, like, I mean, because, like, the wildlife in Europe isn't really, like, dangerous like this, you know what I mean? Like,
well, they have bears. They used to have a lot of brown bears and wolves.
Like, it's not like this.
Yeah, it's different.
Just coming here and just being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, jaguars are built different, dude. They have the strongest bite force of any cat.
Dude, like, videos of jaguars leaping from trees, grabbing caiman in their mouths, and dragging them up the hill bank. And the caiman's just like, what the fuck? I'm apex predator here. What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, man. It's fucking bananas. We didn't see any crocs. They do have crocs and caimans in Lake Nicaragua. We didn't see any of those. But a lot of them, they end up getting hunted. So that's, like, one of the sad realities of life there is, you know, a lot of the wildlife still gets killed and ate up. So, like, iguanas, there are lots of iguanas, but you don't really see the big ones because once they get to be a certain size, they get slingshotted out of the tree and fucking they blap them with slingshots. That's how they get them, and they eat them. But
did you eat any iguana?
No, we did see one for sale on the side of the road, but that's not, like, it's hot down there. We also saw, like, people selling fish and shit, like, and just swatting the flies away with with like a newspaper or whatever. It's like, I'm not gonna,
No.
I'm not gonna intentionally test my gut biome.
Yeah,
if I was
you can
living down
I've
there.
been to I went to Aruba when I was a kid, and you can get like iguana dishes and stuff like that, like iguana enchiladas and stuff.
I'm sure if we looked, you can. I think a lot of that though, it's sort of like just like bushmeat. Like it's just people for their own consumption. But you will occasionally see, like we did see them for sale live, but probably for eating. I don't think people are really bothering to keep them as pets. I don't know, man. There's so much to tell. We saw a lot of volcanoes. We looked into the mouth of one. Cool. There's this big,
I know,
super active
it was
volcano.
reminding you were doing some Werner Herzog shit, just for like
yeah. We ate
the videos you took, just like you could just see the lava like bubbling up and stuff.
It was cool. Like looking right into like the hot mouth of the earth. It was really neat. Yeah, we sledded down another volcano. Which was cool. Not sledded. There's no snow, but we like boarded down the ash, which was pretty sick. But that was really cool because that's another active one. And on the top of that volcano, you could like kick a little hole in the dirt and just reach your hand down and feel like the thermal heat pulsing out of the planet. Really fucking wild shit. And it was just like stuff like that every day. Like we just didn't stop doing stuff. So like it was cool. We saw what's it called? Bioluminescent plankton. Like the first night we were there, we like went down to the ocean and we were just like in the ocean and you could like swipe your hand and it wasn't, it's not the right season for it to be like super pronounced. Like sometimes you can see like if it rains, the whole ocean looks like it's glowing, but you could see it. It was cool as hell. And you know what? The people down there are fucking amazing. We did see some like, a lot of like, there's a lot of like revolutionary like murals and monuments and stuff like that. It is still ostensibly a socialist nation. In practice, I didn't really see any evidence that that's really true.
Yeah, the FSLN isn't really socialist anymore.
Yeah, but
like you wouldn't call it like a socialist country. They've got like a parliamentary democracy.
And the thing about it is like. For better or worse, it's not really something that I felt comfortable asking. We spent a lot of time with Nicaraguans. This wasn't like we were in a village like with a friend who lives there. We weren't like we did the tourist thing for like a few days in the middle when we went down south, but for the most part we were kind of just like in society. But it's not really a thing that you ask people about, especially not as an American. Obviously our footprint there is extensive and pretty dog shit. But like also there was a lot of political unrest really recently in 2018 when a bunch of student protesters were detained and shot, and that's still really fresh for a lot of people. So it's I didn't get as much like input on that, a little bit here and there, but people really don't want to talk about it. And there is a lot of really weird evidence of that kind of around. So like within 45 minutes of leaving the airport in Managua, my friend came to pick us up in her like Mitsubishi Jeep analog, and we're leaving. And within 45 minutes of landing, the way the cops are there, they're not patrolling the roads like they are here. They set up checkpoints periodically on the main streets, and then they just point to you and pull you over to the side of the road. And so we get pulled over, and my first thought is like, why don't more people just like fucking zoom past this guy? Because truthfully, like their uniforms look like they make them themselves. Like they're not official looking at all. And then you look over and there's always some other dude in the back in black, like to blend into the background, just with an AK or like a combat shotgun, like just packing massive heat. And like it's pretty evident that they will just start shooting at your car if you drive away. Yeah. So, we pull over and this guy says to my friend, he's like, who is a gringa, but lives down there, has lived down there for years, speaks fluent, not only Spanish, but fluent Nika Spanish, like has all the mannerisms, the slang, which always puts them like off guard. But so they're like, oh, you changed lanes back there, that's illegal, so it's gonna be a fine. And she's like, well, why, where, like what's the violation? There's no sign, I drive here all the time, whatever. Basically, eventually it becomes clear that the guy's just like, hey, man, do you want me to pull everything out of your car and give you a really hard time, or can I have $10? And so he, like, hands her his ticket book. She slips, the equivalent amount of Cordobas in there, and he takes it back and he's like, get the fuck out of here. And during the day, it happened a couple times where we had to pay the cops to just, like, leave us alone because they profile you. Like, if they see white skin, they're like, boom, there it is. That's my money
That's
for
the
the day.
motherfucker I'm pulling over.
And at night, because her car was, I mean, I don't want to say shitbox because I loved this car. It was great, but it's a shitbox. We didn't get pulled over at all because, like, it doesn't look like whoever's driving that has money. They can't see into the car. So it was just very interesting. A lot of stressful moments like that. We did some psychedelic drugs, which I don't feel weird admitting. I'm a pretty sober guy, but, like, you know, that was fun. I took it very, very easy. I ate a little mushroom chocolate, and it was really nice, and I watched the sunset, and that was kind of it. But, yeah, man, it's a wild time. It's a very cool country. The people there were fucking awesome. Saw poverty on a widespread level that you just don't experience here. You might see it in certain parts of this country, which is also interesting to note, but, like, just the general standard of living there is so different than what we're used to. It's a real indicator of how even that type of travel, like just my ability to go there and visit, and for me that was just like a diversion. I was really acutely aware of that. There's a lot of, like, white privileged hippies that are down there, like, seeking some sort of enlightening experience, and I found that really disruptive and fucking bothersome. Because that whole culture, dude, that shit bugs the hell out of me, and, like, you know, especially in the South, that's really prevalent. And people are just like, wow, like, they just live so much closer to the earth here. And it's like, yeah, man, I'm sure if they could, they wouldn't poop in a bucket, right? Like, they don't, you know,
they do it
romanticizing
we destroyed their country when they tried to make something better.
Yeah.
And just so that we could get cheap labor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what
and,
I
like,
mean?
Cheap
like,
bananas.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on to a different.
Well, and so we will.
Hate that, like, that, like, fucking that white hippie nonsense like that.
And you know what? To be especially clear, like, it's not like I have any particular problem with any particular social group or whatever, but it's that particular type of
the type of guy who makes white boy reggae.
Yeah, you know, and even that, like, it's so contextual for me. Like, I don't really give a shit, like, if you like 311 or whatever. I mean, it's objectively bad music, and, like, it sucks if you like it. But, you know, just seeing that and realizing that these people who are in search of this, like, true connection are sort of simultaneously so disconnected, but kind of not aware of it. Whereas me, like, I was so acutely aware of my disconnection that was, like, the focal point for me. It was like, wow, like, I feel like I really realized, like, how massive the wealth gap between, you know, the global north and the global south is. And all of that was really compounded by...
You bribed the cop with $10.
Dude, and that's the first thing I thought was, how much would it cost to fucking bribe a cop stateside? So much money that it's not practical.
I mean, yeah,
it's not practical. And most cops, like, I think, would say, like, it's not worth risking.
Sometimes cops will just steal thousands from you.
Yeah,
like, there was that whole you know, the We Own the City about the Baltimore police, that the gun trace task force, and they're fucking robbing people of, like, $10K and shit. You know what I mean?
Insane. And
but, like, $10 was just like, because, like, once you said it was like $10, I've been like, dude, I wouldn't even bothered having the conversation. If $10 was, I knew, just to get me out of there, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, oh, yeah, I have my cop bribe money set aside.
Dude, yeah, it was really hysterical. I Venmo'd my friend, and it just said, like, bribes and other expenses. Like, you know, it's funny, but, like, anyway, it was just a really eye-opening experience. It was really interesting, and I don't want to, like, wax too poetic on it, because that's sort of my point. Like, it's not some sort of, like, fantasy playground, right? And, like, the fact that it is so cheap there is real evidence of, like, how heavily impacted the economy of that country has been, not only by our own involvement, but, you know, as a sort of snowballing result of our involvement, other foreign countries' involvement, and then their own government morphing from something that I think started as, like, a really legitimate attempt at, you know, a socially progressive government, which it was for kind of a while, into something really exploitative and really sad. Yeah. And through all of that, honestly, Nicaraguans are some of the most interesting, fucking kind, welcoming people I've ever met. You know, I was welcomed into people's homes. People wanted me to eat food that they had cooked, and I'm, like, looking around. I'm like, yo, your house is the dirt. Like, you live in the dirt. Look at me, dude. I am not wasting away. Like, I'm good. I don't need your beans. But also, you can't say that because, like, they legit really want you to try.
I bet you
it,
those are some baller ass beans.
Oh, they were sick, bro. Sick.
Like,
and that's
I bet
another
you
cool
some
thing,
good
right?
beans.
Like Nicaragua is fairly food secure. Like in that, like 95% of the food there comes from within the country. So there's not a huge variety of fare, but what's there is really healthy and really good.
Anything.
What'd you say?
Yeah, you don't really have to import anything.
No, and dude,
Very
I lost weight there. I ate like a king the whole time, but it was clean, fucking fresh food.
Yeah, that, and you were also like walking around the whole time.
Yeah, I was climbing volcanoes and shit. But I lost like 10 pounds in Nicaragua and ate great. Like, granted, you got to be down to eat plantains and carne asada and like rice and beans every day.
I'm fucking down to eat plantains,
bro.
Carne asada,
Same.
and rice and beans every day.
Down to clown. It's all good food.
Yeah, but no, what you're saying too. I have this buddy, and he was dating this girl that was from Mexico City for a while. She's Mexican.
Yeah,
and she said like in Mexico there is currently a huge problem because the U.S. dollar goes so far there. Mm-hmm. You have like a lot of like young Americans moving down there because they can get like pretty decent places and stuff like that. And just have to go in there to live for a while, or they'll get a job, but like they can just live off their savings and shit. And they said that there's this girl said that there's like a huge problem in Mexico where young Americans go down there and they're pricing Mexicans out of even being able to live in Mexico.
Yeah, man.
Because like you're getting like Mexicans will have to like start like really like the actual people from Mexico, they're having to like get like apartments, like the young people in Mexico, they'll have to get apartments with like 5, 6, 7 roommates because they can't afford apartments, because then you get like some Americans who go down there and they're just throwing money around and they're raising the cost of living out of like what you can make as a Mexican working like Mexican jobs. I mean, you have places like Lockheed Martin is like opening plants just over the border because it's cheaper, and like some Lockheed employees, like they'll have like special gates set up so that they can live in like El Paso and just drive straight through without like having to go through customs.
Yeah.
Or like some of them will just like live around there too and shit. But it's just like, like Americans moving to Mexico are pricing Mexicans out of living in Mexico. So it's even happening like right on the border and whatnot. But
yeah, it's I think that's probably a little ways off for Nicaragua, but I mean Costa Rica's to the south, and that's a huge hub of ecotourism, and it is starting to happen. I mean, in the south, in the city of San Juan del Sur, which is like the last Nicaraguan city before Costa Rica, it's a big port city. It's incredible, the difference. It's the only city that we visited where you could really just look around and everything was like too nice, and you could tell this is just like where all the rich
country I'd really like to visit.
Yeah, same. I mean, the ecotourism and stuff there is great, but again, it's sort of become overrun with people that look like us. Yeah. And it's one thing, you got to balance like the natural beauty with like the fact that it's become this like getaway for a certain element that in their own kind of way is exploiting those resources and the economy there, which now it's really expensive in Costa Rica. It's like not cheap to go there. And I think a lot of that will happen, and hopefully you hope that like the influx of tourist dollars is in some way beneficial to the people there. Like we were patronizing small businesses the whole time, like just giving people cash, which is like great, I hope, but it's tough to tell like what rippling effects you're having when you're doing that kind of traveling. It just everything feels like kind of a double-edged sword. Like on the one hand, like it really awakened this desire in me to just see more of the world. I think too few Americans, myself included, really have spent enough time in very different places, and that aren't like Europe or Canada or whatever, or like the Caribbean, But then I just think you just always got to be kind of conscious of like what sort of impact you're having, what your footprint is when you go, and like are you being like a good ambassador for like Americans abroad? Are you being exploitative? Are you I don't know. It's just all worth thinking about. So anyway, I mean, I could go on and on. There's so much shit that I'll tell you in person about my trip, but I do recommend that you all consider visiting Central America, because I think that we in America get a very filtered view of what life is like down there, what the people are like, what to expect, and there's an element of truth to some of that. There is an element of kind of whatever quote unquote danger there, but they're just people, and they're just living with what they've got, and I think it's important for Americans to see sort of the lasting effects of our prosperity and our global involvement elsewhere, and what the cost of our notion of national security has resulted in a lot of our neighboring countries.
Yeah, the security of American business abroad.
Right.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I think I've said it before on this podcast. I hold the the belief, excuse me, that World War III already happened, and that it was basically the Cold War, most especially like between the years of like 1950 to 1990. America engaged in this really protracted war with Latin America, especially. Mm-hmm. There was tons of armed conflicts, armed uprisings throughout Central and South America that was really instigated by the United States. Of course, I think that you can think of like the Korean War, the Vietnam War as theaters of this World War II.
Yeah.
The upheavals in Indonesia that the United States, basically committed a genocide in Indonesia, killed 1 million people in order to get Sukarno out of power and put in Suharto. Obviously, the wars that we, in Cambodia and Laos, we bombed both of those countries as well. We helped put in Pol Pot into power, and then all of the wars in Africa, the wars of liberation that, we took part in as well. And, I think all of these things, because they happened in the global south, we don't think of them the same way that we think of World War I and World War II that happened in Europe.
Right.
Mostly in Europe, but there was some in Asia as well. But I think, things like Operation Condor and, in general, the Cold War, I think that these really need to be thought of as World War III. And it was a war that the United States prosecuted in order to protect capital and American business interests, and we made sure that the people that we put into power were going to let us fucking completely wreck those countries for all of their natural resources, all of them. If you fucking keep anything from us, we will fuck your shit up, and we did.
Yeah, pretty much without
with
fail,
total impunity.
Yeah.
Oh, but anyway.
Well, anyway, I feel like we've gone on long enough on that because I do want to. There will be some Central America and specifically Nicaragua focused episodes. I've got something in the works about global agriculture and the commodities trade, focusing on cacao. I had some really cool cacao based experiences there and met some cool people, and so hopefully that'll materialize, because that's a really interesting microcosm of global, the agglomeration of the work and effort of millions of little small farmers just being sort of directly funneled and exploited by like 5 companies. And so it was anyway, I don't want to go too deep into it, but that's an idea. And then also just sort of talking about Sandino and the culture around the revolution in Nicaragua, and that sort of like 70-year period. Really, really fascinating stuff. So we will definitely return. There will be some more Nicaragua talk on this show.
Yeah. Chinga los fascistas.
Fuck yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to touch on? I know we've gone kind of long.
No, I mean, have you ever seen the Portlandia episode, the cacao one?
Yes,
of course. Maybe think that.
Yeah.
Cacao is the safe word. Cacao.
Yeah, I thought of it the whole time.
Yeah,
but, it is a superfood. Cacao is one of the most amazing foods on earth. I will say that. I will never look at a little child slavery Hershey's bar the same way again. We've been eating dog shit our whole lives, folks. The real chocolate is out there, and it is.
Well, yeah, I think specifically Hershey's tastes the way it does.
They add puke flavor.
What's that?
They add puke flavor.
Yeah, they do it because they used to have to make it with spoiled milk during like rations during World War II, I think.
And people got used to it.
Depression. Yeah. So now, because Americans got used to that spoiled milk flavor in the chocolate of the time, they intentionally add it.
It's the same reason that Heineken tastes skunky. Because Americans got used to the taste of skunk beer. Imported beer, because it's clear bottles as opposed to dark bottles.
Yeah, like Heineken doesn't taste the same in Europe.
No. Apparently Heineken's quite good in Europe, but the Heineken we get here is made here.
Yeah, dude, Carlsberg here in the U.S. is so gross, man.
Yeah, we intentionally
skunk.
skunked that beer, and that's
Yeah.
like the imported beer taste. We're so fucked. We're so fucking fucked.
Yeah,
we're
we're
all
such a-
fucking fucked.
Yeah, even when we have the opportunity to not have the disgusting version of products, we
Yeah.
still
We like it.
No, we're gonna intentionally make it.
We like it that way.
Yeah.
We're used to it bad, and we like
Yeah.
it bad.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some guest episodes in the next couple weeks. We're really looking forward to that. We'll get back to some history stuff.
Yeah, we'll get back. I'll do Mongols 4 at some point. Looks like that one did pretty well. You guys seem to be keeping up with that saga.
Yeah, people like the Mongols apps. I've gotta get back to my Ancient Mysteries ones. I've got another guest app that I've talked to somebody a little bit about. I'm not gonna tease it any more than that. And then maybe get into some slight French Revolution stuff.
And then before my 33rd birthday, this is fun. I'm gonna allow myself to die of a mysterious disease on air to commemorate the death of Alexander the Great. So that's going to be our big, because he was on the eve of his 33rd
we'll
birthday.
put a poll on Twitter so that you guys can choose which.
Do you want me to drink
culture-
myself to death? Do you want me to get shot in the lung with an arrow? Do you want me to be poisoned, which is potentially what happened?
You guys do some dysentery.
Choose your own adventure. Oh, that's right. He might have pooped himself to death.
Nope. Died attending to chamber business.
Or the Elvis, as we call it.
No.
It's good to be back, and it's good to see you, man. I'm gonna see you in a couple days for real, and I'm really excited.
We're gonna eat some.
We're gonna get some
fried
seafood.
You gotta get that Mean Jeans, dude. That Geno's.
Hell yeah.
And then I don't know. Maybe we'll watch a movie or something like that after.
Fuck yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe smoke a little ganja.
Yeah, dude. That's also a good idea. Cool. Hell yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys soon, and we're doing an episode next week, theoretically, right?
Yeah, should be.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So I guess next Saturday, not this Saturday. Next Saturday, we should be recording with a guest. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that. All right. Sick. Well, we love you guys very much, and we will see you next time.
Peace.